This is a Forever Better podcast brought to you by PUMA. Jack, we're back.
We are so back.
We're so back. Obviously, last episode we spoke about how football shirts used to be made from wool and cotton.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking, does anyone really talk about what football shirts are made of these days?
We probably should talk about it more because football shirts can be distracting if they're not made of a material that's comfortable. Like, imagine running around a football pitch and it's all itchy. No. Long day.
I don't play football, as you well know, so I don't really know about these itchy, logistical, technological feelings. Obviously, in the spirit of open-mindedness, I've done a little bit of research. And I've discovered that most football shirts are made from polyester these days.
Wow.
Which basically is a plastic. Yeah, and it made me look through my wardrobe. Yeah, because I wanted to dig a little bit further.
Really?
And I've actually got a lot of polyester clothes, Jack.
No, you don't.
You know that favourite grey skirt I've got that blows in the wind?
I love you in that grey skirt.
Polyester.
Shut up.
Yeah. So it raises the question, like, what is the impact on the environment?
We're going to learn a lot today, Kim.
So let's welcome our next guest. He's going to take us through all things materials.
I'm Jack Fowler, ex-footballer, now DJ producer.
And I'm Kimberley Cumberbatch, a content creator. And in this show, I'm stepping into Jack's world to try to understand the football shirt hype.
And welcome to Who Gives a Shirt, a Forever Better podcast brought to you by Puma.
This is episode 2, The Synthetic Switch.
Kim, I am so excited about our next guest, okay? So excited. James Harkin is here, and he is an absolute sports enthusiast.
That's exactly what I am.
Yeah.
I love sport, love all sports. But my main job is I am the head writer and researcher of QI, the TV show.
And I believe you've got a cheeky podcast.
I do have a podcast, No Such Thing as a Fish. It's been going for 10 years now. We've had 500 million listens.
Ooh. We're trying to be like you when we grow up. Yeah. So, James, you're here today to help us understand why football shirts are made of what they're made of. And in the last episode, we learned that shirts originally were made from natural fibers such as wool and cotton. Why did they make that change?
Well, to start off with, wool and cotton is what everyone had, right? You know, if you're a worker, you would go and play football afterwards, and that's what you would be wearing normally. And actually, wool is an amazing material. So we all know it will keep you warm when it's cold. And it's also quite waterproof. It has special scales on it that the water will go straight off it. But actually, when it's really hot, it works well as well because it kind of wicks the sweat away from your body and it helps you to cool down. So it's really, really good. But it's not really made for football. And when it gets really wet and really rainy and really muddy, it just becomes full and big and big. And it's like you're carrying a sheep around with you on the football pitch, basically. Cotton's a bit better.
Yep.
Cotton's good, but then when you get sweaty, it'll stick to you. So that's no good. So then eventually we came up with new man-made fibers, and they are much better. They're lightweight. They wrinkle-free. They deal well with stress, just like me.
The thing is, the way you're describing these materials, I'm just thinking about, for me, I can't wear anything that looks remotely itchy. If it looks like I can see hairs, it's not something I can wear. So what I'm getting is cotton was clingy, wool was sweaty, heavy, damp, sounds not very nice. When did they start making the change to different types of materials?
Well, so the main thing is we invented polymers. So that's basically plastic.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so there was a German guy. He invented these things called polymers. They're little chains of molecules. They stick together, and it's what all of our most of our clothes are made of today. The first polymer was nylon, which you'll all know.
Yeah, very familiar.
Really, really, really popular with stockings, stuff like that. Really popular, in fact. And during World War II, you couldn't get it. And then when you managed to get it again after World War II, there were actual riots when people were trying to get, there might be just 1,000 stockings available and 50,000 women who wanted them. And they went absolutely crazy to try and get this nylon.
They were kicking off over
They
nylon.
were properly kicking off, yeah. But the thing was, nylon wasn't really very good for old clothes, and we had to wait a little bit later until polyester came in for that.
Speaking of polyester, I've been doing a little bit of research.
Oh, yeah?
You might not know this about me, and Jack does, obviously. I love sustainability.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really in my bag at the minute, and I've noticed that polyester obviously has some really negative impacts on the environment. And I've been going through my wardrobe, and, you know, my favourite skirt is 99% polyester. It's shocked me, to be honest with you. So I'm just wondering, you know, when did they start using polyester more generally?
Okay, so I think we first got polyester in the 40s, but it was in the 60s really when it took off. And it became really, really popular. It was something you didn't have to iron. It was a bit more comfortable than the other clothes that we had, and it was really modern. So if you think about, we had pop art, Andy Warhol, we had the space race, people are starting to go to space. You've got it's just a really modern era where bright colors are coming. Color television was starting to come in.
Oh, wow,
you know, everyone loved these amazing colors, and polyester was perfect for making these kind of clothes.
So it helped people express themselves better, is what I'm kind of gathering.
I think that's fair.
Bigger creativity.
Yeah, it was a very different time to what it had been before the war, when everyone was a bit more straight-laced. But suddenly psychedelic culture came along. Everyone could express themselves differently.
Would you say at the time, obviously you weren't there,
Thank you for saying that. Might not be obvious on the camera.
but I was wondering, like, the social attitudes towards it. Was polyester welcomed, or people a bit like, oh, because you know, new things, depending on who you are, you might be like, I don't want that. I'm just a bit interested in that.
Yeah, for sure. So I would say that for young people in that time, it was definitely welcome. It was the new trendy thing that everyone was wearing. For business people, they like wearing polyester suits because they didn't have to iron them. They didn't really have to clean them very much because they're plasticky, so they're kind of wiped down kind of thing. So that was really popular. But of course, with all kind of new culture, the older people don't like it so much. And then also with all new culture, after about 20 years, it completely goes out of fashion. And so you get to around the 70s and 80s, and suddenly these kind of clothes are not very trendy at all.
So when was the first football shirt made from synthetic material?
Okay, so the first synthetic football shirt, I think, the first I can find is 1953. It was the FA Cup final between Bolton and Blackpool. My great aunt was at that game, I can say. She's a Bolton fan. And she doesn't remember anything about getting home because Bolton got beaten 4-3. And it was so traumatic that the fans just sort of slunk back on the coaches and trains.
Really?
And yeah, it was pretty bad. But Bolton had a special kit made, especially for the final, by a local tailor. And they'd come up with this material. It was really bright white. And if you look at the newspapers at the time, I've got a few quotes from them. So the Liverpool Echo said, Bolton's silken white shirts reflected the sun, which had now come out strongly in the most dazzling fashion. And the Birmingham Evening Dispatch said they were resplendent in their shiny white shirts.
This is sounding a little bit more 70s disco dance floor than football pitch.
I think maybe that's the reason they lost.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
So the first kind of synthetic clothes for football kids, I think probably around the 50s. And then in 1968, Puma came up with their own kind of leisure wear. It was made out of something called halanka. It was like a synthetic material, and then it had cotton on the inside. It was very, very popular. They came up with leisure shoes around that time as well. And then you get to the 1980s and hip hop culture, and people saw these kind of leisure clothes that the athletes are wearing and think, yeah, I want to wear those in the street. And then suddenly you get people wearing tracksuits and trainers in the street.
So they kind of like used the athlete's trainer to start dancing and doing hip hop and pop in and stuff like that.
So speaking of Puma clothing around the time, we've actually got a special jersey in the studio today from 1970s. I spoke to Uli off camera, who's our lead archivist at Puma, and I've got some little notes for you. So this is the 1974-75 jersey. Puma made it for Gladbach. The team won the German League and the UEFA Cup. And it's made of 100% cotton. However, the socks.
Right. What about the socks?
The socks are made for something completely different. Completely different.
Really?
Polyamide.
Polyamide.
What do you know about polyamide, James?
It's a type of material. Polyamide, so poly means many. Amide is a kind of bond between molecules. So it's lots of molecules in a line. It's another kind of synthetic material. And it's like a family of materials. So nylon is a type of polyamide. And you get natural polyamides as well, like spider silk is polyamide.
James, why would they use two different materials for shirts and socks? Like,
That is an excellent question. And we've now gone beyond my limit of research for this podcast.
Okay.
But I can speculate. And that is like obviously a lot of sweat coming from the feet. I think a synthetic material will be really useful in that situation.
I have a little theory as well.
Go on.
When you're putting on your socks and your shin pads, you have to pull them over and you pull your socks up a lot. So maybe they needed to have something a bit more stretchier. That's my theory.
I'm going to put the two together and get an answer.
Yeah.
And that answer is sweat resistant, stretchy.
There we go.
Done.
Brilliant.
Bosh. Right, so Uli gave me some more interesting facts, right? In 1974, Puma created a jersey from artificial silk, and this was specifically designed for floodlit games. So obviously Puma were being quite innovative with synthetics at the time. But my question to you, James, why would we need one, different shirts for floodlit games? Two, what's a floodlit game? Why not? Do you know what I mean? Some
Okay.
people are wondering.
If you don't know, you don't know.
You don't know.
Perfectly good question. So
you.
floodlights, enormous lights that light up the game, so you can play at nighttime, basically. Also, television had just been invented and just become more popular, so people were watching on TV, so they needed things to be well lit. Now, why would you need a special shirt for floodlit games? You wouldn't necessarily need it, but you would like something that shows up really well because it's just going to look really great on the pitch. And so actually, if you look at it now, a lot of the teams who play in white today, so my team, Tranmere Rovers, I support, Leeds United is the other really famous one. This is the era they started playing in white. And the reason was because their shirt showed up so much better under the floodlights.
Do you think that's the same for Real Madrid?
Well, no, actually, Real Madrid, they played in white from the early 20th century. And actually, another reason a lot of teams played in white was because Real Madrid did, and they were so popular and stuff like that. So, yeah, no, Real was before that for sure. And I think they did it because their shirts were cheaper. But also, they were like the royal club, so they needed to be whiter than white.
So do you think the polyester side of it helped change the way shirts looked?
Yeah, definitely. So it meant you could get better colors. Because polyester really holds colors in really well. And also there was the new inventions of computers, which meant that you could do lots of better printing on your football jersey. So if you see all the jerseys that are around us, a lot of them have got really intricate patterns on them. Like even if they're like a completely red jersey or a blue jersey, they still have lots of like little lines, little boxes and stuff like that. And you couldn't do that before polyester and before computers came along.
So what I'm gathering is things were a bit boring before that.
Yeah, they were really, because it's difficult to make a jersey that's more than one color. You know, you get a piece of cloth and you make a jersey, or maybe you get two pieces and you put them in stripes, or the very, very best you can do really is get four and put like four cubes next to each other. But any more than that is really, really difficult to do.
So we've just been speaking about polyester and how it brought in bright colors into football kits, right? Now, there is a really fun football kit from 2004 African Cup of Nations that Cameroon wore, right? And it's an all-in-one.
Like a onesie?
Like a baby grow, right? Literally 11 man running around in a baby grow, right? It's behind us, you can see.
Like we've got red bottoms, green on the top. We've got some claws on the old rib cage. Me personally, I'd wear it. I would. I feel like it's bold, it's giving energy, passion. It's actually giving winning, actually. So I support this. I support this a lot.
This is a madness. From someone who's played football, right? I can't tell you how weird it must be to wear a onesie to kick ball in. Like, it's so, in my mind, unpractical, James, right? This is where you come in, brother.
Oh, I'm so
What
excited.
the hell was going on in 2004?
Well, it was the African Cup of Nations.
Yeah.
And PUMA decided to innovate. And they came up with this idea. Apparently, one of the reasons was that there was a rule that you had to tuck in your shirts into your shorts. And this kind of got around that because if you don't have any shorts, if they're all attached in one, you don't have to do that, right? But I think they're amazing because they were so tight against the body, you couldn't really grab someone. You know, like if they're running past you, you'd be able to grab someone's shirt and slow them down. But you couldn't do it with this one. But the really interesting thing is FIFA did not like it at all. The people who organise football, they really tried to ban it. And it was not just this, it was another one that had no sleeves.
I like that.
They're such amazing kits. And I remember seeing them in a museum. I've never seen one in real life. So this is really, really exciting for me as a football jersey nerd.
So why were they trying to ban it? Like, I'm not going to lie, it's really cute. Me personally, I'd wear that today.
Yeah, it's just they have their rules, and a lot of old men who make these rules up, and when new things come in, they don't always like them.
I think I found my team.
Do you reckon?
Oh, yeah.
I'm into that. If that's what they're wearing, then
I could see you in that.
same.
I
It's
could see
my
you
whole
in that.
point. So I think they should bring it back, personally.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. Who do I need to speak to? So clearly polyester's done a lot for football shirts in terms of wearability, intricate designs, colours. You know, I can see the appeal, right? But obviously, as a sustainable babe, as we know, I've got to bring it back. The environmental impact, like, it's still plastic.
Yes, and to illustrate that, I've got a little game prepared for you.
A game, you say?
Yeah, a game. It's all about numbers. So the numbers are 200, 61 million, and 1. And I will ask you 3 questions, and each question, one of these numbers will be the correct answer. You have to decide which.
I
Right,
do love a
okay.
game.
Okay, so your first question is, How many years does it take for polyester to biodegrade? I'll count to 3 and then you'll have to do it at the same time because I don't want any cheating. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Jack, you have gone for 200 and you're looking very confident there. Kim, you have gone for 61 million.
61 million?
Wait, what was the question?
61
Wait, what was the
million?
question? What was the question?
That's like dinosaurs.
Wait, what was the question?
The question was, how long does it take for polyester to biodegrade? And you do have, in fairness, you do have things called forever chemicals that do take an awful long time to biodegrade. But
Didn't know that.
I did know that.
Polyester is not one of those. Polyester takes about 200 years to biodegrade.
Go over here.
Although the truth is that it's not been 200 years since they were invented. So we
what
don't
do
know
we
what
really
happens
know?
in 200 years' time.
Well, it's definitely not 61 million.
Yeah, but that's my point. If we don't even know yet, what do we really know? Yeah.
Well, let's see if you know this one. The second question, how many tons of polyester are produced in a year?
I'm ready.
These are trick questions. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. So, Kim, you went for 61 million. Jack, 61 million as well. And you are both absolutely correct. 61 million tons. And that's the equivalent to everyone on Earth having an amount of polyester the weight of a Shih Tzu.
That is a lot of Shih Tzus, my guy.
That puts it into perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, and your final question is, what percentage of petroleum drilled each year is used to make synthetic materials? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Kim, you've gone for 1, and Jack, you've also gone for 1, and of course, you are both correct. It's about 1% of the petroleum drilled each year is used to make synthetic materials. So it's not quite as much as you might think. Obviously still not great for the environment. But actually, if you look at it, things like cotton, not great for the environment either. Cotton's a very thirsty crop and it uses about 10,000 times as much water to make the same amount of cotton as it does the same amount of polyester. So really what we need to be doing is finding ways to recycle the polyester, finding ways to reuse it. At the moment, it's very difficult to do that because a lot of the fabrics are like part polyester, part cotton, part silk, whatever, that kind of thing. So it's quite difficult to do. So companies like Puma, they're looking at using less virgin polyester and also reusing the stuff that we've already got to make their football jerseys.
We're going to talk a lot more about that in episode 5, about how Puma are tackling the environmental impact of polyester.
Thank you so much, James. I feel like we've learned a lot.
So much.
Nylon,
Cameroon onesies.
polyester.
Do you know what I mean?
It's been a journey.
It's
Oh,
been great.
well, thank you for having me. I've learned a lot myself.
All right, James. Bruh, what a guy. Yeah. Like, his knowledge is unreal. It's like an encyclopedia. And the onesie, the Cameroon onesie, that there would look great on you, right? But on me, running around playing football in a onesie, I don't think it would work.
I do agree. Me, onesie, knee-high boots. Can you see it?
You'd be styling on it.
Winter, walking down the streets.
Yeah.
It's looking good. It's looking good.
So what was your favourite bit then?
Right. So my favourite bit was the quiz.
Really?
I'm a big fan of a quiz because usually I win quizzes. Obviously, somehow I've lost. Yeah.
Because you're coming against the champ.
I almost won. Because the game, actually, Jack, where we were learning the impact of synthetic materials on the environment was actually a learning experience. It's not about who's right or wrong at the end of the day. So let's focus on that.
Okay.
So I've obviously learned a lot. A lot there.
Yeah.
And I know in episode 5, we're going to get into a little bit more. We're going to learn a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Me too, right? But for now, I've got 2 photos to show you, right? And it's a bit of a clue of what our next episode is going to be all about. Now, the first photo is of football fans in 1974 on their way to a match, which is what typically football fans wore to games. And if you look, they're wearing their everyday clothing. We're talking wide leg trousers, we're talking denim jackets, and even some suit jackets. Then if you look at the second photo from 2024 of Man City fans in the stands, they're all wearing football shirts as we know and recognise today. Now look at the difference.
I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't even know fans weren't always wearing shirts, to be honest. I think I could do the wide leg, sweater vest situation.
Really?
I might go 1974 and go watch a match.
Yeah, you'd swag it out. You'd make it look cool because right now they're not looking the coolest. But anyway, in the next episode of Who Gives a Shirt, we're going to find out how and why football shirts became so important to football fans.